Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our annual Townwide Music Festival. My name is Tom Scavone. I'm Supervisor of Music of our nationally recognized Westport Public Schools Music Department. The National Association of Music Education has designated March as Music in Our Schools Month. This year is their 30th year celebrating this. We will be celebrating with our band festival of 2015. Before we start, I would like to ask, the fire marshal has asked that we keep the exits open for the evening. Music programs and events such as this cannot happen with a sustained vision and understanding of the importance of the arts. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the person primarily responsible for creating that understanding in Westport, our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Elliot Landon.
Thank you, Mr. Scavone, and welcome everyone. This is one of the most entertaining nights of the year. It gives me great pleasure to be here because it gives me a chance to thank all of our parents first for the kind of support you have given to us to enable us to build probably the best overall music program in the entire state of Connecticut. Without your support, it just couldn't be possible. Our Board of Education has a deep commitment to music education, and I'm happy to say that Karen Klein, one of our parents, is here tonight because she has a vested interest in our performance tonight with one of her youngsters in this program. Our teachers are extraordinary. We search high and wide, far and wide, for the best people we can find, and I am delighted to tell you that I believe that we have one of the finest groups of teachers that one could find anywhere. In our search, we also found we had one of the best directors of music in David Weiner, who's your conductor tonight, your guest conductor. But Tom Scavone has come to us and has enabled us to build and strengthen our program more than ever before. And to these delightful students, our wonderful students are not only academically gifted, but musically talented, and they bring pleasure to all of us every single day. So I just want to announce very quickly, because I don't want to spend a lot of time up here, is that we received word today that for the third year in a row, the National Association of Music Merchants has designated Staples High School's music program for a 2015 Best Communities for Music Education designation. It's a tribute to Staples and to the entire Westport community. To demonstrate our commitment to music and the arts, I'd like you to know that beginning next year, we're going to be we're doubling the amount of music time in kindergarten so that we know that the next Beethoven is going to come up from our kindergarten ranks. And finally, I want to invite you all to see Sweeney Todd. I saw it this past Friday night. It's one of the most difficult of all Sondheim productions. Our kids were in the pit, along with only a very few professionals. And it's hard to imagine students of high school age being able to perform that kind of music. And the choral arrangements are just incredible because it's so difficult with that libretto. But we discovered Luke Rosenberg, our new choral director, who enabled us to make that happen. So with all of that, I wish you the very best. Enjoy the evening. You're going to love the show tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Landon. Assembled before you, we have combined 7th grade band, combined 8th grade band, our combined high school bands. And we're going to have a premiere tonight of one of our newest ensembles in town, our combined middle school percussion ensemble, which is a real treat, and I think you're going to enjoy that. You will see over 300 student musicians, which is just absolutely extraordinary and does not go on in many towns. This is definitely a special event. On the inside of your program, you'll find a sheet, front cover, And about regarding concert etiquette, part of our teaching mission in Westport is to educate our students of the appropriate behavior at assemblies and concerts. With that in mind, we have one quick request for you. If you could take a moment, silence your cell phones and any other noise-making devices, and enjoy our show. Thank you very much. Now, if you would turn your attention to our combined 7th grade under the direction of Coley Town's own Mr. Jim Forgy and Mr. Lou Kitchener, our 7th grade band. very much, 7th grade. Can you give them another round of applause, please? And thank you to Mr. Forgey. Thank you, Mr. Kitchener. Great job, guys. Wonderful. We have a really exciting moment coming up. Programs of excellence, music programs of excellence. One of the key components is the opportunity for the students to perform chamber music. And Westport has a very strong program in that, demonstrated by different groups such as the jazz band, the wind ensemble, the chamber orchestras. That's one component of chamber music, which allows students to play more independently in challenging music. What happened last year was we added a percussion ensemble at the middle school. And our elementary teacher, Mary Gardner, started this. And Mary is at Long Lots, Greens Farms, and Coley-L. She's also a percussionist extraordinaire. So she started this about a year ago, and to show you how far this group has come, this past weekend they were invited to perform at the Percussive Arts Society Connecticut Percussion Day at WestCon, and were featured performers in the morning session with student groups, and actually were invited to do this, which is pretty phenomenal in less than 2 years. So I'm going to hand this over to Mary Gardner and our combined middle school percussion ensemble. Enjoy. As we reset our groups and get ready for our 8th grade, I want to take a moment to piggyback on Dr. Landon's comments about being designated for a 3rd year in a row for National Best Communities. It's a sponsor. The program is sponsored by the NAM Foundation, Support Music Foundation, and National Association of Music Education. The foundation reviews various items in a town and various criteria, including facilities, budget, staffing, commitment by both the school system and the town at large. What you're seeing tonight, and if you're wondering, is this really good? This is really good. And these guys are great, and I think they deserve one more round of applause. This does not happen in every community. Our program begins at pre-K. It's a sequential articulate program, and by grade 4, they begin to make choices, as you know, of playing an instrument, and in grade 5, at that point, have another choice of moving from a stringed instrument and having the option of band. These all tie together, and what we do is we take basic concepts and we continue to spiral them or go to a higher complexity level. This does not happen without outstanding instruction. As Dr. Landon said, this town is blessed with great music educators. Just phenomenal things. What you're seeing in this gymnasium is really an outcome of success. This is our celebration of all their hard work day in and day out with the teachers. I did want to give and acknowledge the various teachers who are all skirted around the room, and some you recognize from your schools, and give them a round of applause for just their incredible instruction, and thank you very much. I also ask that you take a look at the back page of your program when you have a moment, and you'll see some of the various people who are involved, from the Board of Ed to the Physical Education Department, giving up their teaching space for an evening, or for actually 2 days, and just the commitment and collaboration of so many different departments to make this a success. That's what makes this special. At this point, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Greg Winters and our combined 8th grade band. Thank you, Mr. Winters. Great job, guys. At this point, it's my pleasure to introduce our special guest conductor for the evening, Dave Weiner, who recently retired from here, my predecessor. I've known for quite a long time. He's a visionary, a mentor to me, and just a legend in our profession. Dave had the wherewithal to come to Westport with a clear idea of where he wanted to go and how he wanted to build this program, and what you're seeing tonight is the result of that. And I think it's a pretty spectacular event, and for me personally, it's just wonderful to be able to join this one just tremendous community. Everybody has been so welcoming and so warm, and I can't help but think a lot of it is because of Dave's efforts over the years. So we're just so excited to have Dave come back and join us and enjoy and revel in our children. So, Mr. Weiner, all yours. One more time for our grade 8 bands. Now we're going to turn our attention to our Staples High School's combined bands. At Staples High Schools, there are 3 concert bands, a jazz band, and recently a chamber music program is starting to develop at Staples also. So I think we're going to hear some really wonderful things coming in the near future from the high school. Mr. Maricondo is going to take a second and warm the band up, and then Ms. Anako is going to join in and do her piece. Finally, a couple thank yous that I want to make sure that we want to thank our Board of Education. I want to thank Dr. Landon again and Ms. Sion for all their support and understanding of what goes into a program of this magnitude. And it takes patience, it takes perseverance, and it's really obvious to me in the short time that I've been here that that's been in place for a long time and continues to be. So I cannot thank them enough. And I give them a hand, please. And our media extraordinaire, I've never met anybody quite like this person, Mr. Jim Honeycutt, who does everything around this school district. And finally, Mr. Mike Phyllis, who does all the sound here, does all the sound for any production and board meeting that you see in Westport, and he's just tremendous. And he's doing Sweeney Todd, and just a tremendous artist at what he does, so Mike Phyllis also. So I will hand this over to Mr. Mercada and Staples High School Band.
the high school bands on Shenandoah, I'd like to just say a couple of words. I'd like to first of all thank Tom Scavone and the music staff, my colleagues and friends here in Westport for inviting me back. It really is a very special treat, and it's something that, of course, will just always ring with me for the rest of my life. I'm really having a wonderful time. I'd like to congratulate the 7th grade band. Outstanding, the percussion ensemble. We planted those seeds. Really wonderful, very mature sound. And we planted the seeds for the percussion ensemble. It seemed like yesterday, and it's already bearing fruit, and that's really, really wonderful. The 8th grade band, what a treat to work with you. Thank you again. I know I said a few words to you while we were rehearsing, and certainly heartfelt. So thank you again for that wonderful time. And lastly, the high school band has just developed amazingly, and I'm so proud to stand in front of that group and all of these groups. It's just, I feel like a very proud grandfather. We have a couple of things I'd like to tell you just briefly about Shenandoah. It's a stunningly beautiful arrangement by Frank Ticelli, who's one of our big composers in the realm. And there are two really extraordinary features that I want you to listen for. One is a 3-part canon for the flute section, and it's just beautiful, and they are doing a stunning job on it. It's very difficult to play, and they're doing a beautiful job with it. And the other is, most of us have heard the tune Shenandoah, but Frank Ticelli sneaks in approximately 8 beats, approximately 8 seconds, of a different tune. So I'm not going to tell you what it is, but stretch your ears a little bit as you listen to this beautiful piece and see if you can pick it out. I think you're going to enjoy this arrangement tremendously. And thank you again, everybody, for having me here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. One more time for the high school. Okay, just a couple things before we do our grand finale. I want to just speak to the students for a minute. You've already been doing this long enough. You already have a unique gift. You already have something special. You have a privilege. You have the ability to make music. You have the ability to affect emotion without saying a word. You will always be musicians. It will never leave you. That will take on more meaning as you move here. You did a terrific job tonight. I thank you for that. One tradition I want to bring to Westport that I'm very comfortable with, students, you would not have this ability, you would not have this gift, you would not have this privilege if it was not for your parents and the people who are up in the stands. So I would like you to give them a round of applause right now. Okay, a couple laundry list items before our grand finale, and this will involve everybody in the room, so please listen carefully. First, once we are done, after the grand finale, I would like to ask that the parents and middle school students, you will meet your kids down here on the floor, and then accompany them to the rooms to pick up their instruments, and you'll leave from there. If there are wire stands, would you just close them up, put them on the chairs? Okay. What we would like to do is have the Staples students be able to leave first carrying a music stand with them. Because they have to come back because they're going to help us tear down. And when they get back, the woodwinds were so kind to say, we'll take care of the music stands when we get back. No, it's okay. And the brass said, we'll take care of the chairs. So it's so great. So they need to leave first so they can come back and take care of all this, and the percussion will take care of the percussion. Okay? If you're waiting for your child, you are more than welcome to come down and help out. This way we can stagger the exit, and the middle school families can leave, and the traffic won't be as exciting as I've learned it can be coming out of Staples after a large event. So are we clear on all our tasks afterwards? We good with this? You guys okay with that? I knew you would be. It's very important that we do this. This is the phys ed teaching space, and they did give it up for 2 days. We have to tear it down tonight and get the floor up so they can start teaching bright and early tomorrow morning. Now, it is my absolute pleasure to hand over to all our fine directors our grand finale. And I would thank you all for coming out, and I hope you continue to come and support your children's efforts. It was a great evening. Thank you.